Hi guys, it's Sandy with Trinity Stamps and welcome to the Trinity Stamps YouTube channel. Today I have this beautiful outer space card that is featuring the new Porthole circle card add-on die set. Gosh, that's a whole lot of words. I will go ahead and link all of the products that I'm using to create this card down below. Let's get started. To start this project, I am using the A2 Clean Cut Layers Rectangle Set A to cut out two rectangles from a white cardstock. I am using the rectangle that is the second largest. I'll go ahead and put that on my paper and run it through my die cutter and get two of those cut out. For my actual card base, I am using a piece of black cardstock that I have cut at 5.5 by 8.5, and I will score that at 4.25 and fold that in half. This is my base. On the front of my card, I'm going to adhere one of my white pieces of cardstock to the front using some temporary tape. Then I'm going to grab my Porthole circle card add-on and I'm going to place that where I think I want that on the front of my card. I'm going to be using a pencil to lightly trace the inside opening of that Porthole die. I'm going to take a circle die from the Clean Cut Layers Circles die set. It's set A, and I'm going to find one that's going to line up with that outline that I did with my pencil. I'll go ahead and use some temporary tape there, adhere that down to my card, and run it through my die cut machine. I'll remove the die, and as you can see, I now have a little window that is the front of my card that will open to the inside of my card. I'm taking the other piece of white cardstock that I have, and I'm going to put a little bit of temporary adhesive on the back of that, and then I'm going to line it up on the inside of that card where it will eventually be permanently adhered. Next, I'm going to close that card and then use my pencil again to lightly trace that circle opening on my white cardstock. That is going to be where I want the bulk of my stamp design to go. Once I have that traced out, I'll go ahead and remove it from my card base and set the card base aside. I have my Misty Light set up on my glass magnetic surface, and I have determined where I want my gnome to be in that circle. So I'm going to go ahead and just ink that up, and I'm going to stamp him. I do wind up doing him twice just to make sure that I get a really nice impression. My gnome is from the Astronomical Gnomes stamp set, and then I've also got some planets that I'm using from two other stamp sets. They are Out of This World stamp set, and the other one is Another Orbit stamp set. Now these particular stamp sets came out earlier in 2025, and again, these are some of my favorite stamp sets. I'm going to go ahead, get those on my cardstock, placed on my cardstock where I want them, and then I'm going to go ahead and ink them up and stamp them twice. I will also use a stencil that I'm going to be using for the little moon surface down below him, and I'm just making sure that I have everything placed exactly where I want it so we can go ahead and get this whole scene created. I wanted to make sure I had a sun in my scene, and it wasn't working very well with my Misty Light. I'll take an acrylic block and just put my sun on that and stamp it on my background here. One of the reasons I love my glass surface is I can just take my little chamois and wipe off any of the extra ink that goes off of that cardstock. I want to make sure that I have my moon surface at the bottom of my scene here, so I'm going to be using the Crater Layers stencil. And this would have been a whole heck of a lot easier if I had just not been lazy and pulled out my crafty Clingmate mat, but I was. So I'm just going to use some temporary tape that stencil down to my glass surface, and then I'm also going to cover up those open areas on that stencil, because when I start stenciling I just get a little bit crazy and I don't start paying attention to where I need to be. This first color I'm using is Squeezed Lemonade Distress Oxide ink. I've repositioned my stencil, and I will be using my Blending Buddy Sidekick brush and some Carved Pumpkin Distress Oxide ink, and I'm just going to lay in those little crater lines. I will reposition my stencil one more time and use Mustard Seed Distress Oxide ink to finish up these little craters. I'm using a gum eraser to erase that circle that I traced on this piece of cardstock. Make sure you do this, because if you don't and you ink blend over it, there is no way to get that circle or that pencil line off. So this is a really, really important step. To ink over the little images that I've got stamped on my cardstock, I need to make some masks. I've got a piece of temporary paper, temporary adhesive paper, and I'm just going to go ahead and stamp each one of those images on that. I am using some very fine tipped sharp scissors to cut out these little masks that I've stamped, and I'm making sure that when I'm cutting them out I am staying on exactly on that inked line as best I can. Another way of doing this card, if you don't like all the fussy cutting and the masking, which I totally understand because sometimes I just don't have time to do all of that, you could stamp all of these images on whatever cardstock you like to do your coloring on, and then use the coordinating dies to cut each one of those images out. And that would work perfectly, and I would actually cut, quite a bit of time off of this prep work. In the Crater Layers stencil set, there is a die that cuts out that moon surface or planet surface, and I just use that die to cut out a piece of cardstock, and I'm going to use a little bit of temporary adhesive just to cover up that little area there, so that when I ink blend I'm not going to be hitting it. Before I ink blend this background, I want to step this up one more level. So I am going to be hot foiling on top of it. Now the cool thing about this is everything is masked off, so I can just use my foil plate and the hot foil and get my stars applied to this background. It will leave a small indentation, like in that moon area from where the letterpress plate just kind of pushes into that cardstock. It's a little bit visible, but not visible enough that it makes me crazy. So I just think it works just perfect. And the beauty about doing the foiling now is that you can ink blend over that and then just polish off that Distress Oxide ink and get those stars to shine. So I'm going to be using Citron hot foil, and I will be using my little foiling machine here. Isn't that cool how that turned out? Now I'm going to start ink blending, so definitely do not start removing any of those mask pieces at all. I am starting with Salty Ocean Distressed Oxide ink, and I am just concentrating that in the kind of the third part of the lower part of the little sky that I'm creating. The next color I'm going to be using is Prize Ribbon Distress Oxide ink. And I'm going to lay that medium dark blue color in. Also, I am using my blending buddies, and if you don't have these, you might want to give them a try. I really enjoy using them. I think they really help with hand fatigue when you're doing a lot of ink blending. So that's just a little tip for you. And the darkest blue that I'm using is Chipped Sapphire, and that's going to be at the top part of my card. Once I get that put in, I go back and forth between those three colors and just kind of blend all of them together, making sure there aren't any harsh lines. And for the final touch of my ink blending, I am going to be using Black Soot, and I'm just concentrating that color on the very outside edge all the way down to my moon. I've removed my background from my Clingy Craftmate, and now I'm going to take my flour sack towel and I'm going to start polishing all of those little areas where the foil stars are. Make sure that you do not remove those little masking pieces before you do this, because if you do, you're going to be rubbing your ink into all of those areas that you spent so much time masking off, and you wouldn't want to do that. I'm going to use my pickup tool to help me lift off those little masking pieces of paper. That way I'm not scraping that cardstock with my fingernail. Plus, I don't know, this is my favorite tool aside from my glue press. I have this pickup tool on my desk, like next to my hand at all times. All right, isn't that turning out just stunning? Oh, it's going to be so fun to color. I have colored all of my little friends and planets and rocket ships and everything off camera just for the sake of time. If I were going to be recording all of that, we would definitely be eating dinner together. Plus, everybody has their own color choices of what they want to do. So I used Copic markers, and I will try to remember to maybe list those down below if you're interested in the colors that I used. Other than that, we are going to go on to finishing this card. I didn't want the front of my card to be a stark white, so I decided I would just use a little bit of gray ink to kind of just give it not a lot of color, but kind of like, I don't know, the inside of a spaceship, I guess. So I'm using a twinkle ink that's kind of a metallic ink, and I haven't played around with those a lot, and I'm not quite sure I like them, but I can't say that I don't like them because I really haven't worked with them enough to make that determination. Anyway, I'm using a platinum color, and I'm just going to kind of just kind of place that ink around kind of in a mottled look, just to cover up and tone down that white color. The only place to really put a sentiment on this card is on the front of the card and really just at the bottom. So I'm going to use a sentiment from the Astronomical Gnomes stamp set, and I'm just going to ink that up and stamp it in my Misty. I believe I'm using VersaFine ink for this. I'm going to use liquid glue to adhere that beautiful background that I've created for the inside of my card. I could use some adhesive tape, but I have problems with that in Colorado. I think our weather is so dry that after a while the tape just doesn't want to stick anymore. So I pretty much use wet glue for pretty much everything. The big drawback is once it's on there, and there's no taking it off. Next, I'm going to glue that front piece to the front of my card. Again, I'm using liquid glue, and I'm just making sure that that lines up really nicely along that circle opening, because I don't want any of that white cardstock showing on the inside of that, on the inside of the opening flap. However, I just don't want any of that white cardstock showing on the black cardstock. I wanted the front of my card to be just as vivid as the inside. So I cut 2 different colors of cardstock for that porthole opening. I am a terrible paper hoarder, and if I whip out my matte metallic cardstock, you got to know that I'm in love with this card, and I am definitely in love with this card. So I've got like a hot fuchsia color and an electric blue, and I'm using that fuchsia color to do the inside of the porthole, and then I'm going to glue the that electric blue on the outside of the fuchsia, and that is just really going to set off all of those beautiful colors on the inside of my card. I have got a lot of liquid glue on this card at this point, and I don't want anything curling up on me. So I am going to use my magnets and just kind of weight down the corners of that card for now while I put on the little screws that go in the portholes. Now, for the little screws, I have used a piece of rip and stick on the back of a silver metallic cardstock, and I have run that through my die cutting machine. I am also using just a little spot of liquid glue to help me place those little screws in those little openings. Not so much to adhere them down, because I'm pretty sure, well, maybe not on the metallic cardstock. I just want a little bit of wiggle room so that I can get them in the right spot. So that is why I'm actually using the liquid glue. And again, I am using my pickup tool. And between the pickup tool and the rip and stick, I have found that those are indispensable tools for paper piecing. They just make the whole process a whole lot easier. To finish up the front of this star card, I am going to be putting on just a few silver sparkle stars. I had thought I wanted to do the pink and I can't remember what the name of the other color is, but it was too distracting, and I just felt like the silver was a much better choice. So I'm just going to randomly place those around the outside of that card. And we are just about done with this one. And that pretty much completes this card. I hope you've enjoyed following along in the process of creating it, and I hope you've been inspired to create a card of your own. This porthole could be used for just a number of different themes, so hopefully I've sparked a little bit of creativity. All right, go ahead and hit subscribe so that you're notified of other videos. We have a very talented design team, and we are posting videos pretty often, so you want to be notified of those. Also, go ahead and give us a thumbs up if you've enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for spending a little bit of your day with me, and until next time, bye-bye.